Oh. What's going on, everyone? So I'm interviewing Sam in this video. I'm just doing this clip beforehand. I want to say a few things first. Firstly, we're live streaming on my Instagram, Pierce_Cav, right now to discuss everything about this interview. I'll also leave the stream up, so people who are watching way later down the road can also watch the live stream as well. So be sure to follow my Instagram, Pierce_Cav, for that. Come talk to me. I always talk to everyone who comes to my streams, and we always have a great time. I also want to say this video was filmed last night before Jeffree's video went up. I have a lot of opinions to say about Jeffree Star and his video. I will leave that to another time. However, this video I thought was important in this interview to get the full perspective on everything. Sam's video, like he admits in this interview, was very rushed. And in this, he can test James's points in his response video. He can test one of the points, for me anyway, that I thought was a key point. However, in this video, he says James Charles did, in fact, lie about one of the things in his response video. He talks a lot and goes into details that we haven't heard yet, and it's a very interesting interview. Please like this video right now if you enjoy it. I worked really hard to bring you guys this interview. And, subscribe if you're new. It always helps. And, yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy the interview. All right, guys. So today we have a special video now. Through just a lot of tracking down, and I finally got Sam, the waiter from Seattle. Everyone knows him as that. His name's actually Sam. Today we have him on for an interview. We get to finally get some questions towards him, and this whole drama has just been so insane, and I just want to get to just the bottom of everything, ask Sam a few questions, and just see where we end up after this. Sam as well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, of
really
course.
Appreciate it. What's your just quickly, what's your Instagram? Because I know that you're doing me a favor, so I want to do you one. If people want to follow you or find out where you are, what's your Instagram?
Right. My personal account is @SamuelCook.
Right. So let's get into the video. So this question I'm asking you first is so irrelevant to me. I don't think it really brings much to the narrative, but are you straight, gay, or bi?
I am straight, and there's kind of a reason behind this.
Okay.
So at the time when I met up with James Charles, I was bi-curious, and this is one of the things I really didn't touch on my video, was that as soon as I kissed him, I realized I was straight.
Okay.
But a lot of people were wondering why I went on for an hour, and then that led people to think that I was gay. But what happened in reality is I felt an immense pressure being there in the room with a celebrity who kept mentioning he spent $1,500 on a room for me to just kind of waste it. So, I felt an immense pressure to,
to just make sure he felt like he got his money's worth, basically, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many times, you said he kept mentioning it, did he bring it up often, or was it like a throwaway comment, or what context did he bring it up in when he was mentioning the money?
I can't remember specifics. I just remember the feeling. I don't remember.
Did he mention it more than once? Do you remember that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it be in person or over text, I think it was.
Okay, whether it was text or in person. Okay, so yeah, you kind of I kind of got that impression a little bit from James's text when he showed your text in his new video. You could obviously tell you were a bit hesitant to go. Which was that be fair to assume? Were you like back and forth deciding really what you wanted to do? You're a bit unsure of going, but kind of wanted to go a little bit as well? Yeah,
there was so many times where I almost bailed on him. Like I was extremely nervous.
So this whole James Charles drama comes out, right? And it's popping off. Everyone's talking about it. Mm-hmm. And you decide to make a video.
Yeah.
When you make this video, I'm a YouTuber. I know there's multiple things that go into wanting to make a video, right? Multiple different motivations. There's views, there's clout, there's bringing this information to the public, trying to, because, these allegations against James now, people are calling him an alleged predator and all this. So it could be an element of wanting people to know the truth about a certain situation as well. So if you want to answer this as honestly as you possibly can, because I feel like there's always different motivations. What were like your actual motivations going into this? Was it to show the truth about James and show, what he did to you and how he tried to, in the text you showed in your video anyway, how he was telling you how to feel and stuff? Or was it, a bit of clout, a bit of views? What was the actual motivation behind making the video?
So I'm going to say there's like two reasons behind this. First of all, I kind of wanted to shed light on some of the things that were going on and that were really being talked about. And I saw this as a perfect opportunity pretty much to hop on the bandwagon, if you will. I mean, it was talked about in Tati's video, and there was a lot of people asking like, who is this kid? Who is the waiter? Like, like, a lot of people were waiting for me to make a video, so I was like...
They want to put a face to the name.
Exactly.
Pretty much, right?
And so that was kind of my reasoning behind it. And it was very sloppily done, if I do say. It was done.
Would you say? Yeah.
Filmed, edited, and uploaded in a day. Like, we put no thought into it. We just kind of whacked it out and put it up, so...
Yeah, and currently where you stand, like, you know, in your video, because I rewatched it a few hours ago anyways, it's quite fresh in my mind. You know, you show the text of James saying you're straight, you know, he's saying these things to you that, you know, could be seen as manipulation to try and, you know, get his way with you, basically.
Right.
Do you still stand by that kind of thing where, like, you don't believe what James did was right and you think he was trying to, you know, because you said at the time you were bi-curious, so you were, like, you know, unsure. Do you still think he kind of, like, used that to his advantage?
Well, I mean, I do think what he did was wrong. Yeah. But you have to keep in mind, he is a 19-year-old kid, and he is human, and humans make mistakes. And I don't think what he got was what he deserved, if that makes sense.
You thought it was too much? It blew up too much?
I think it just kind of got way out of hand and blown extremely out of proportion with the amount of backlash that he got.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea, and I don't think anyone had an idea of that it would get this big and this much traction.
While we're talking about these texts, because I remember when I first reacted to seeing them, I thought they were obviously, like, horrible thing to say to someone, man. Like, how could you tell someone how to feel, right?
Right.
And you mentioned that, you know, when he told you that you said he was quite persistent afterwards, right? After the whole thing, he kept kind of persisting that you were bi or gay, right? So just to clarify, because I don't think you really put a number on it, how many times would you have said he did that? Like, if you had to kind of, I know it's hard to be specific about these kind of things, but it would help just to give, like, a roundabout kind of, like, was it enough times that you couldn't count? Like, was it persistent enough to call it persistent, or was it like one or two other times?
Let me try to remember here. I would say maybe around 3 times. Okay. Like, each one were pretty pivotal. Like, I would tell him in a long thing, like, hey, like, I like you as a person, but I don't think, you know, this is working out. And then it would usually end up with us taking some time, then we would end up getting back in contact. Usually he would contact me. And
how many times, like, what was the time frame on this? How long was your relationship? How many, like, weeks or months were you two speaking before you finally cut it off with him?
Well, we met in late February. So I would say about a month.
A month?
About 1 month.
And when he was telling you these things about, you know, how, you know, telling you how to feel basically about your sexuality, was there other texts, or, because we only saw the one text that you showed, right? Was there other texts, or was it phone calls, or, like, what was the what other ways he kind of did it? Because we only saw one way, so I just want to clarify what other ways he did it.
That was the only text that I received.
Oh, okay.
The other ones were over phone.
I want to move on to, you know, James's response. What did you think of it? Like, you know, you've watched it, obviously. You must have just seen bits of it. What's your opinions of the response video he made?
It honestly surprised me, because I was assuming he'd lay low for longer. But when it came out, what he said about me, well, I don't want to have an opinion on this just yet. I don't want to speak on this just yet, I think.
Okay, that's fine if you don't want to speak on it. Just not too specifics.
Right.
We won't go into specifics about it. Generally though, what was, like, were you left with a positive feeling, or, like, where you had a bitter taste in your mouth? Like, did he get things wrong, basically, is what I'm asking. Like, what did he get things wrong in that video?
No, he pretty much accurately displayed it.
Okay. There's still people trying to, like, dispute James and stuff, so I want to make sure people know that from you yourself, because, you know, you're obviously a massive part of this, what James said in his video was okay, right? Nothing he said was, like, too crazy or, like, a lie about you or anything like this, right?
No.
Okay, cool. So, sweet. So I want to ask as well, obviously, how is everything with you and James? Have you spoke since then? Have you talked? Like, have you communicated since?
We have spoke recently, and we're on good terms as of recently. He was just kind of upset, with full right to being upset, that I spoke on this topic.
Right.
Because I went back and I tweeted pretty much saying to stop the hate on James Charles on my behalf.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel it was right.
Cool, that's good to hear, obviously. In James's video as well, the response video anyway, there's a text between him and Jeffree Star, where he basically Jeffree Star goes on to be like, "Oh, Sam's gonna drop a video on you." Did you and Jeffree speak before you dropped your video?
No, that very much surprised me because it wasn't true. I've never been contacted by Jeffree Star, and I have not spoke with him. So
okay,
I don't know where that was coming from.
Okay, so like, well, I don't know how he knew then. He must have been psychic or something because I don't know how would he have known that? That's crazy.
I don't know.
Do any of your friends or anyone you know talk to Jeffree, or would anyone leak it, or like, how would that become public information? Is just what I'm wondering.
I have no clue. From the text, it kind of sounded like I was gonna get on a video with Jeffree.
Yeah, it did.
That's what it sounded like, but no, I didn't really think about maybe it got leaked. I don't think it did, but there might have been a possibility. But I think I would have been able to tell if it got leaked.
Okay.
Me and my friends kept it pretty low key.
Low key.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you mentioned, and I'm glad you owned up to this because I did feel like this too, that your video was sloppy, right? You didn't put too much effort into it. You kind of, like you said, jumped on the bandwagon like a lot of us did.
Yeah.
And that's good of you to admit it because I feel like it's hard to admit that sometimes. A lot of people find. But I was also wondering because James's response video came out and there was a lot of stuff in his response video that you never really touched on, right?
Yeah.
So basically, and this is like the key point for me, like in terms of what James said in his response video about you, is that, when you two were talking back and forth about how, you weren't straight, and, he basically, what James Charles said was that you kept confiding in him and about your sexuality, right? And you kept saying to him, well, there was that text, obviously, that you said you were fully gay, right? And you sent him that text.
Yeah.
And then you sent him a text after that, you changed your mind and you said you're confirmed bi. To James, right?
Just to clarify, so there are no further questions, the point of including this screenshot is not to out Sam. Sam texted me saying he was fully gay, but it was a trap to get me on FaceTime so he could illegally record the conversation to include in the video that he was planning later on. Like I said, at the end of the conversation, I asked Sam how he came to this conclusion, and then he told me he was not fully gay, to which I hung up out of frustration. Later on, he texted me saying he was confirmed bi. This is why, in Sam's video, he included a screenshot of me telling him I did not think he was fully straight. This comment had a lot of people really upset and confused as to why I was telling somebody their sexuality, but there's a very simple explanation. Sam and I talked for a very, very long time, and his sexuality, like I said, wavered a lot. Every time that he was a little bit confused, we had open and honest conversations about it, and he always asked me my input, and I gave it to him.
Mm-hmm. So if I put myself in James's shoes right there, you got this guy basically, it's kind of like messing with your head a little bit, switching up his sexuality every now and then. And then James sent you that text, right, saying you are straight. You're not straight, sorry. After all of this went down, right, he sent you the text saying you're not straight, basically, the ones that you showed on your video.
Well,
is that
no, he said that way before I went and well, okay, so there's a bigger story behind this. So it actually wasn't me who said that. It was one of my friends. I'm not going to say his name. He's going to remain anonymous, but
that's fine.
He pretty much, me and him had the idea to get the video, but James had me blocked on everything. So I couldn't access any information to make this video. But we knew we wanted to make the video, and we knew he knew there was only really one way to do that. And that was kind of his, if you will, business tactic to get the information that we needed.
Okay. But when you said you were confirmed, in James's video he says this, right? He says when you said you were confirmed bi, and then you said you were, when you said you were fully gay, sorry, and then you said you were confirmed bi, and then James said you aren't straight. James said it was after you said you were confirmed bi, right? I think that's what he said in his new video. Well,
no, that's not true.
So is that wrong?
That is wrong. He pretty much this is just around the time where about a week after we met, I first told him I wasn't feeling it, and I was straight. That was kind of, I think a couple of days after that, that's when his text saying that he does not believe that I am straight came. So
Okay, so that was only a couple days. You've only known James for a couple days then.
it
When
was
he sent the
about
text.
I would say from like a week and a half to 2 weeks
Okay, so
into
because
this
that
month long thing.
so you must watch James' video where he claimed that it was after a while and you guys kind of you were talking about your sexuality and confiding in him, that then he sent the harsh, text saying you are straight, no, you're not straight, sorry, you're going, you're not straight, basically trying to tell you you're not straight. That was very recent into your relationship. It wasn't like after a long talk and changing you basically, he said it after your, if I get this, let me get this right because it's important to get it right. When you sent your text to him, that really long text, saying, I really enjoyed hanging out with you, but I feel like I'm straight, right?
Yeah.
It was very close after that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so then James has mixed the timeline. James has completely switched up the timeline of them events then.
Yeah.
So to make himself look like it was, because basically when James said it, it felt more like the way he portrayed it was that you guys were talking for so long about it and you guys were like confiding, and he just got really pissed off about you switching all the time, that he just went, look, you got to face the facts and that you're not straight, but you're telling us that it wasn't that at all.
Yeah, no.
Okay, fuck, so James lied, but yeah, James did claim that it was like off and on, and then he sent the message basically telling you that. So
This comment had a lot of people really upset and confused as to why I was telling somebody their sexuality, but there's a very simple explanation. Sam and I talked for a very, very long time, and his sexuality, like I said, wavered a lot. Every time that he was a little bit confused, we had open and honest conversations about it, and he always asked me my input, and I gave it to him.
that makes you look worse, in my opinion. If when James said that, it made you look worse.
Right.
You're telling us that
It
isn't
kind
true.
of painted me as a villain to, help.
Well, it
his
painted
case.
you as a guy who was like, switching up back and forth, or changing your mind, and then he's like, you getting pissed off, and he told you that. Which I could understand that. If he did that, I could understand it more, because, if you keep telling him you're gay or you're bi and you're straight, and just messing around with him, I could understand him being pissed off and being like, look, you're not this,
Yeah,
I can understand it more than
That's what
one.
happened. I think he was trying to justify what he said and switch the timelines so it would, kind
Yeah,
of correlate
well,
and, justify.
That's what you're saying. So that's a massive detail, because that is one of the things that sparked a lot of outrage with James, was these comments he made towards you, right? Because that's not right to do to anyone. You shouldn't be telling people what their sexuality is. And he justified it in a way that you're saying wasn't true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to read out some quick text James showed in his video. Not from you, it's from Jeffree.
Okay.
I just want to read out some and just clear up on this.
Cool.
So Jeffree Star texts James saying that he basically trapped Sam in your hotel room in Seattle, psychologically forced him to stay, and made him feel horrible for their pennies you spent on the room, which is something you said, right?
Well, yeah. Not all. I did not feel trapped. I did feel pressure to stay, but I was not trapped.
No, I meant the pennies thing. Like when you said that he kept bringing up spending money on the room, right?
Yeah.
But my question is, let me read out the other text first before I even dive into the questions. And then he texts James's best friend saying that he trapped that boy in his hotel room in Seattle and he didn't care about it. Basically inferring that James is like trying to make you stay, right?
Right.
I'm wondering, how does Jeffree Star know this?
Well, he was, from what I understand, I don't know how accurate this is, but from what I understand, they were all staying at the same hotel.
Yeah.
And so they all were pretty much in contact. That's my best guess. I don't know.
Right. But like, because the way I'm thinking about this situation is, I'm just outside perspective, is James Charles isn't going to go up to Jeffree Star and tell him that you felt trapped in his room, and no one else knows about you and him. So did you tell Jeffree the story of you two meeting? Did you talk to Jeffree about that? Like, did you say, look, I felt uncomfortable in James's room? Did Jeffree ask you for the story, like what happened with James? Like, because that seems like something only you and James would know. So I'm assuming somehow Jeffree might have reached out to you, trying to get the scoop on it and stuff.
Yeah, I know, and a lot of people have been wondering, but I've never spoke to Jeffree Star, and we've never been in contact. So
How does that information go out into the public? Who's saying something about it? Did someone know? Did people know about you coming? But like you said, like he was very understanding. He said he was fine with you leaving. Obviously, he said to you to stay. Like he was disappointed of you leaving, but you said he was quite understanding of your situation, right? From the text James showed, you said he was anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how you actually felt. I don't know if you felt differently and just texted him that to like make him okay, or was that how you truly felt?
Well, I mean, I did feel a lot of pressure, and it did take a lot of like, hey, I really want to go home, for him to
Did
like,
it really?
like it took like 20 minutes of me saying like, hey, like I want to go, and then he'd be like, but please stay, and then I'd be like, fuck, like.
Okay.
I'm like,
so did he
trapped.
ever? Yeah.
Not like trapped. That's a bad word. I don't want to use trapped, but I felt pressure to stay, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
like disappoint him.
Yeah, trap seems and then psychologically force him to stay. That seems like quite a strong term. You know, you can leave whenever you really want. If you wanted to leave and you felt so uncomfortable, you had to leave. There's nothing stopping you leaving, right? It's not like James is like barricaded the door or something. You know?
No. If I needed to have left, I could have.
Okay, and then you have so you have no idea how. So no, your best guess of how this got out to Jeffree Star and his friends is just what that it just got leaked somehow, like because I my brain doesn't really wrap around that, like just the thought of James saying that to someone that he felt. Maybe did you ever tell James you felt trapped, or not trapped, but did you ever tell James that you felt like he kind of made you stay?
No.
The way Jeffree Star knows is in the video they said that they were all in the kitchen together, and James basically said he spent like $1,500 on a room, but he wanted to leave, so that's why Jeffree Star basically.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why he knows.
I forgot about. There's a big talk between Tati and I forget who else, James and Jeffree maybe, and they all kind of talked about. This is one of the things that they talked about.
Okay.
And I think that's how we got a lot of information. I have no idea the timestamp when the conversation happened, but.
Okay. Oh, this is one that I want to ask. Why were you so mad about James seeing someone else while he was seeing you?
Well, he made it really. He seemed very genuine. Well, I didn't really. I wasn't mad at the time, but like, because I didn't know at the time. But I think we just kind of. Here, let me just like collect my thoughts and try to think about this question.
No worries, no rush. Because like all I'm saying, I'll just add to it, see if it helps. Is that because you've already said that, you know, you already made it clear to him after the first, like a few days later, that you felt straight, but you wanted to be friends still, right? So if you just wanted to be friends, wouldn't you not really be that bothered that he's seeing someone else?
Yeah, I don't think like. All right, so in the video, I think, you know, everyone was kind of jumping on the bandwagon of like making James look bad and exposing him, and this was one of those topics that we used, and I don't think it was right because I didn't care at the time, but like it was one of the things where
you're basically saying you pretended to care just to get more, just to get people amped up, kind of thing.
If I'm being honest, yes.
And one more thing, and I think this is like something I learned that's pretty new.
Right.
Do you feel bad using your sexuality, like being gay, pretending to be gay, just to bait James into calling you? Do you regret doing that now?
Okay, into calling me or into like.
Because you said your friend used it as like a business move, right? Kind of to get James to get back in contact with you, because you knew that would, you know, grasp his attention.
Well.
Do you regret doing that, or do you think it was just necessary for you to make that video?
I think it was. I think it was honestly not the best. I kind of regret doing it now, or like letting it happen more or less.
Yeah. Is there anything left that you feel like you need to say? Do you feel like you've had a fair chance here? I want to make sure that, you know, we get everything that you want to say out there.
There is one thing I kind of want to talk on that wasn't really, I didn't really explain in my video.
Right, go for it.
So, a lot of people so it took me about a week to like tell him that I was straight, but I should have told him pretty immediately after, but it seemed like it kind of got in my head. Like he was telling me like, oh, I knew you had a good time,
Okay.
So he was telling me he thought I enjoyed myself, and it pretty much got in my head. I was like, okay, maybe I am bisexual, and I did actually like that, but I was just so overwhelmed by it being the first time.
Yeah.
That I actually did like it, and I was just confused. So I kind of was like, all right, so maybe there is a second chance, and like it's James Charles. Anyone in my position, I feel like would jump on that opportunity, as fucked up as it is. But
Right. So you felt more because he was a celebrity in that kind of regard. You felt if that was just like a normal guy, you probably wouldn't have given him the time of day. But because he was this big, celebrity that everyone loves, you felt like more inclined to give it a go.
honestly, yes.
A lot of people are giving like James Charles these very serious allegations of being a sexual predator, and I feel like I should ask you, first-hand experience, do you feel like James Charles is a sexual predator?
No, I think he is a kid
He's
who's
not.
confused.
I feel like we've covered everything. Like you said your last piece. I feel like we're done here.
I would like
thank you so much.
kind of cap the video with one last thing, thing to leave everyone with. At the end of the day, James is human, and we both made mistakes, and I don't think he deserves the hate that he was given on my behalf. So, yeah.
If you knew how it would have gone, would you have not made the video?
I don't think I would have made the video if I knew how much traction this would have gotten, I guess.
Okay. Thank you for coming on, Sam. Really appreciate it as well. And to Sam's mate as well for setting this all up and helping us out. So really do appreciate it, guys. And yeah, that's it.